this video, we are going to learn about one of the most important writing skill of class 11, that is note making. Remember, either you understand and learn it or you just don't get the feel of it. Now let us look at the introduction to note making. In a class, when a teacher teaches a subject or topic where a lot of information is conveyed to explain a topic, issue or subject matter, the lecture is at times at quite a fast pace. So, what do the students do? Some students just listen, understand and retain. A few listen, retain a lot, and at home they try to jot down what they understood and retained. Many students jot down some keywords and main points using abbreviated language in between, and at home they draft it neatly in their fair notebook based on those notes taken in the class. Quite a few who are quite fast at scribbling jot down almost every bit of spoken word but without really understanding a bit, and nor do they make an effort to write the same as fair work. And just before exam, when they pick it up, they find it difficult to recall the context of most of the notes. The result is that they end up getting confused. Note making. It brings into focus the concept of note making and fair work with certain rules and precautions. First, notes with some abbreviations, and then fair work attempted as summary or abstraction after note making. Let us look at the division of marks for note writing in an exam. Part 1, which is note making, is of 5 marks, out of which 1 mark is dedicated to the title and 3 marks for the notes. The abbreviations with their key hold 1 mark as well. Part 2, which is summary, is of 3 marks in all, out of which the content holds 2 marks and the expression 1 mark. Understanding note making. Every chapter, article, story or narrative, whether literary, scientific, historical, social, economical, factual or theoretical, has a sequence that makes the readers gradually go through it with interest and understanding. Beginnings are generally with concept, definition, background, origin, etc. The paragraph or chapter then moves to the functions, explanation, parts, types, places or views. Next comes the cause, contradictions, impediments, variations, specific events and crucial points. There could be scope of effects, consequences, change, outcome, process result, etc. Finally, there has to be conclusion, present scenario, latest development, cure or treatment, and even future scope or scenario. Thus, ideally, every chapter, article, narrative has 5 parts or divisions. Yet, depending upon the choice of passage chosen by the examiner, the passage could be divided into 3 to 6 parts, points or headings. Remember, when a passage is provided for note making and summarizing, it may have just 1, 2, 4 or 8 paragraphs, but it does not mean that the passage has to be provided as many headings. By this, we mean that whenever you find a shift in the flow of narration, you should look for a new heading. See, as the examinee reads the passage, he or she will find shift in flow of narration, maybe within first paragraph or possibly after 2 paragraphs. So, the heading will cover that half paragraph or those 2 paragraphs. Each heading will further have subheadings and even further extension of a subheading at times as required. Now let us look at the rules for attempting note making. Number 1. Read the passage thoroughly. This is one of the most important part of making notes. Number 2. Find the title. Read the first and last paragraph to clearly understand what the passage is exactly about and accordingly find the title. Number 3. Read and find out divisions of the passage to be provided a heading and further subheadings. Number 4. Underline the main points and supporting details. Remember a few things while underlining. A. Don't underline any article, preposition, adjective, and as far as possible avoid underlining helping verbs too. B. Skip repetitive sentences, data, facts, or quotes, and where examples, pick just 2 or 3 and write etc. The fifth rule states that pick the subheadings and write them under the headings. Number 6. Each heading should be related to the title and each subheading should be related to the heading under which it comes. Number 7. Circle the longer words or those often repeated words and abbreviate them. Number 8. Organize the information systematically. Number 9. Cover all the important points in the passage while preparing the notes. Number 10. Attempt note writing with proper indentation. Now let us look at the precautions while attempting note making. Number 1. Do not write in complete sentences. That is, there is no need of subject-verb-object combination. Use only words or phrases. Number 2. Preferably underline the heading. Number 3. Form abbreviations. The various methods of forming abbreviations are A. Universal method of capitalizing initial letters. For example, when we write WHO, it is understood that we are talking about the World Health Organization. B. The first few letters and the last few letters of the word. For example, we can abbreviate character sketch as CHTRCH. An individual can be abbreviated as INDVL. C. Taking first and last letters of the words. For example, for reading we may write RDNG and for education EDN. D. Contractions of word. For example, is not can be written as isn't and do not as don't. Precaution number 4. Universally recognized symbols used. Example, IE is used for that is and EG for example. Besides compressing the matter, use of symbols and abbreviation saves precious time while you make notes. Precaution number 5. Make a box for writing the abbreviations. Use at least 4 abbreviations. They are very helpful while making notes. Number 6. Underline all short forms. Provide the key for the short forms at the end of the notes titled Key to Abbreviations. Now, while summarizing, use the notes made to draft the summary. Join the points and make them into complete sentences. Make around 5 to 8 sentences. Join the sentences using words like and, not only, but also, such that, moreover, etc. Include all the important points in the notes meaningfully to prepare the summary in about 80 words. Let us look at the format for note making. First of all comes the title, which is center aligned, underlined, written in capital letters, and also written within double quotes. The headings are numbered as 1, 2, and 3. They can also be written as A, B, C, etc. Under the heading 1, some gap is left in the new line and then the second subheading are written as 1.1 and 1.2. Now the second heading is written in the indentation of the first heading and not under the subheadings. Under the heading is the subheading 2.1, and as the subheading further had two extensions, they are written as A and B. All this is done while keeping the indentation in mind. We can go on like this for the third and fourth heading and so on as required. Here we see how to write a key to the abbreviations. First of all, we see that it is enclosed in a box. It is numbered systematically and the abbreviations with their full forms are provided for clear understanding. Remember, as summary is supposed to be made from notes, keep the words used in note making to around 60-70 so that while converting the notes to summary, it is within the word limit, that is 80 to 100 words. Now, here is an example for better understanding. Read this passage nicely and then we will see the notes for this. Let us move ahead. Here are the notes for the previous passage. We notice that the passage was about plants and our dependence on them, and hence the title, Save Plants, Save Life. Now, the headings are numbered as A, B, C. The first heading is Man Dependence. Dependence has been abbreviated as DPNDNC. The heading 1 has three subheadings A.1, A.2 and A.3. The next headings is Causes of Destruction. Destruction has been abbreviated as DSTRCTN. The key to it has been provided within the key to abbreviations box. The heading B has two subheadings B.1 Man-made CALs. CALs has been abbreviated for calamities. B.2 Natural. Heading C is Prevent Loss Tissue Culture. A hyphen has been used to keep the word count minimum and only the important words are written. Now this again has one subheading C.1 Involves. Now this subheading further has an extension C.1.1 Pieces growing under sterile conditions. The other two subheadings C.2 and C.3 are German botanist watching and Haberland postulated cultivation. We see that in this passage there were also some years mentioned as to when the scientist did the following things, but in our notes they were not necessary, so we mentioned the scientist's name but we skipped the unnecessary information of years. So that is how you prepare the notes for a given passage. Thank you.